I have more somewhere else, but anyways, I study this shit every single day. I was gonna hire an editor for this video, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna drop some straight game because there's people out there that need my help and they have no idea I exist. First of all, let me just get my script out. This is my script, by the way. I just go through bullet points. And so what is actually the main reason that a lot of people are out of shape? Chances are they could be lazy. I mean, it's always a possibility. But how do we solve that? It's not that we eat less, move more, because you probably heard that 1,000 times by now, and I'm just gonna be honest with you. It's bullshit. This isn't completely false though, because if you were to hand someone a wrench and just say fix something, they won't know how to use it. A lot of people don't know what to eat less of and eat more of and do more of exercise-wise. So this concept of eat less, move more becomes something that's just so thrown away, regurgitated. Everyone uses that term. The real number one thing to actually combat this BS term that's actually been used so much, like it's been used so much that people will just throw it around. Eat less, move more, dude. And they'll throw in these like little TikTok captions and try and just get some views for their coaching. I've been there, I've done that, all right? I just want to help people at this point. I don't even care because every time I've chased views, it just doesn't work out. And I just feel like an empty hole in my heart. I won't even lie. But you just want to build good habits. Yes, it's eat less, move more. And no, you're not just lazy. I'm currently reading a book. I actually don't really know the name. I just know that it's about fat loss. But it says something like if you were to tell someone to eat less, move more, you're kind of just throwing a cup of water in a forest fire. And literally, it's literally that. I can't explain to you how important that is because I just don't want to be an internet imbecile anymore. I just actually want to give people the truth. But chances are the habits that you have right now are kind of just, you're sitting still a bunch, but you don't realize it. You're scrolling a bunch. You're using wasted time. That's besides the point of just fitness. You could be doing so much more stuff in your life if you just cut out all the negative BS. We'll get to that later though. That's actually another point on here. But a lot of people, when it comes to their habits, they have bad habits. So you can't just replace all the bad habits at once because that's just not how that works. It's all about sustainability, especially with dieting, nutrition, recovery, fitness, lifting weight. It's all the same thing, but you always have to be something. You always have to be doing something that's accountability based. Sorry, I stuttered there. I'm not as perfect as you think I am, but I'd rather just keep this raw. I know we all get that 3 a.m. motivation. We want to just start doing push-ups out of nowhere. We just want to start, tomorrow when I wake up, I'm going to eat like 10 eggs when I wake up and I'm going to go on a run. It's not going to be sustainable long-term. And I'm going to tell you why. You have this beginning part of motivation where you're thinking, okay, this is what we're going to do. And I'm going to stick to this no matter what I feel. And yeah, it feels good at the start because you have that short dopamine spike of, I did the right thing today. And then tomorrow you're going to do the same thing. And you're like, yeah, still feels pretty good because I did the right thing again. But then again, you need to reprogram your mind that it's a long-term game. So you cannot do the most extreme thing every day because eventually that fuel tank is going to go lower, 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 and then you're going to run on E. And then you're pulled over on the side of the highway. Right? Because you know this is you. We've all done this. We've all been there before. I've been there before. Like, I've literally lived this life. So I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart, trust me when I say all of this information. You need to find a steady base level of activity that you can stick to every single day. So that no matter what, no matter how you're feeling, you can at least get the necessities in. If not, you're just gonna fall headfirst again, like you've done like every other time. That's why you're here watching this video. You actually need information to help you. But if you watch this long so far, we haven't even gotten into things. But maybe your baseline is, okay, we're gonna go to the gym 45 minutes each day. We're gonna do a little bit of resistance training, a little bit of cardio every single day, all right? 7 days out of the week. That's if you have love for the game. Not a lot of people do. Let's say your base level is you've never even been to the gym. You never even exercised before in your life. All right, 3 days out of the week, we're gonna do 45 minutes to an hour. And even if you think you could do more at the start, don't. Just keep staying at that baseline level because then that's how you build momentum. That's how you build that love for the game. But just because someone has that love for the game doesn't mean they always started out like that. The next point I wanted to bring up is that you have enough time, but you're just not spending it on the right things. This is the most common excuse I'll ever hear in my life, and anyone will hear in their lives. It's just, I don't think I have enough time to live in the gym. You don't have to live in the gym. You don't actually have to do much in the gym. You just need to be able to do enough to get in and get out. Because if you've actually been down this road before, you're gonna start to realize that only a part of it is just going to the gym. There's so much more to it than just lifting the weights and walking on the treadmill or doing the Stairmaster. There's so much more to that. I'm going to tell you right now that it starts with just actually starting, all right? We start to take action and we start to move more, right? So eat less and move more is not essentially the worst thing in the world, but that's your direction. Now you just need the education, and I'm here for that. Because back to building habits, also, when you build habits, you want to build habits more outside of the gym as well. Sincerely, if you're not plugging in the phone, it's not going to be charged overnight to actually be able to be used tomorrow. So we need to be getting proper sleep, obviously, but actually that's not really obvious to a lot of people now that I think about it. A lot of people don't realize the importance of sleep and diet combined. Sorry, my throat's getting dry. I don't know if you can picture this at all, but think of the weight loss, fat loss, muscle gain journey as a bit of a triangle. So you have the top of the triangle. That's the training. That's the working out. That's the resistance training, the cardio, anything like that you have to do. And then it goes down here. This is going to be your diet, your nutrition. Then it goes back to over here, which is going to be your rest and recovery. And then it goes all the way back up here again to your training. To fully close the triangle, all three of these habits need to be apparent into your lifestyle. I'm not saying you need to live and breathe it, but it needs to be something that's apparent. The number one thing that you can do is make it as least noticeable as you can into your lifestyle, so it doesn't actually feel like you're changing much. But whenever you want to change, it's a little bit easier because you have the experience of building a good habit and taking out a bad one. So to my actual point is, how do you actually manage your time to make things work here? So you need to find personally what's going to work best for you in the time frame that you can get things done. Because what actually takes up most of your time is going to do the workout itself. Everything else is implemented into your day. It's kind of like camouflaged. So for me personally, if I have a work day, I'm going as soon as I wake up in the morning, because then I have a little bit of a time frame to make some content before I actually have to go to work. Yes, I still work a regular job, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to try and sell you something in the future. A lot of people are going to tell you that they're not going to sell you something, that they're just here to give you as much value as ever. I want to make a living off this. I am so interested in this. This is what I want to do. So I'd rather just be authentic with you than tell you some soy lie that some stupid idiot poophead's gonna tell you that. But going into the morning has been something that's helped me a lot. And it wasn't really easy at the start of it because waking up early sucks, man. 4 or 5 a.m. it sucks. No one wants to do that. But this actually loops back to the habit building where you're putting in a new good habit of waking up early. You're being a little bit more disciplined than you were yesterday because you did something you don't normally do, and you kind of went against the urge of trying to sleep in. I had a previous job where I would actually pack food, pack clothes, and shower at the gym. There was nobody there. It was so early in the morning. And then I would get ready. I would brush my teeth there, do my hair. I would do everything there and then go to work after that, still with wet hair. Because even though that discipline necessarily isn't there every day, it was probably there the day before. So if you prepared the day before, you're making it easier on yourself the next day. The number one thing you actually want to knock out of your head is, I'll do it tomorrow. It's so cliche of me to say that, but I'm going to be honest. It's so selfish of you. You're basically handing something over to your future self saying, here, deal with it, bitch. Like you can't do that. You can't do that in order to succeed. I mean, you can, but you're just making it 10 times harder on yourself. Whenever you think you can take action on something that's going to help you in the long run, do it now. Just think of yourself, program your brain, do it now. Do it now. Right now, I'm in the point in my life where I just think, okay, no matter what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do the thing I need to do. Don't think, just do. Someone gives up their shift, they want me to work it, I'm working. No think, just do, but I'm going to prepare beforehand so that I can actually reach my goals while doing. But why I would go in the morning compared to going after work is you're not motivated to go after work. You're actually less motivated to go after work than going early in the morning because you actually get an energy boost in the morning after working out. Rather than you're mentally drained, your brain's burning so much calories from all the work that you're actually doing at work, and then you're going to the gym after exhausted, and you don't have as much dude, jeez, bro. Oh my God, get a grip, dude. You don't have as much in you rather than compared to the morning wherever you just have everything in you. Even though you actually haven't really woken up yet, you're still kind of getting in the flow of things. But I like to just stay active. I like to get moving. I like to get my steps in. That's my next point. I start off my morning with at least 1,000 to 2,000 steps while I'm drinking coffee or while I'm drinking my water and hydrating, at least, because I hydrate as soon as I can in the morning, and then I'll also have some coffee a little bit later than that. At least an hour after I wake up, because my sleep is really important, and that can actually mess up your circadian rhythm, which means that you might not be sleeping as well. Remember, part of the triangle, we want to be sleeping really well. As best to our abilities, at least. My next point is I want to introduce you to getting more steps in. How can we do that, and how can we track that? I think this is available on Android as well. I'm not sure, but at least for Apple, there's an app that you can actually track your steps on, and I use it basically every day. I don't need an Apple Watch. I don't need a $600 tracker that actually tracks everything for me. I just use the Health app. Little bit behind today, 6,000 today, which is really good, honestly. That's still really good, but I like to keep a higher step count because I do less cardio in the gym because it's a little bit more time efficient. But you're going to learn to realize that getting your steps in is such a crazy glitch in the system because you can pair one thing that you have to do with getting steps in. Like if I'm editing a video, sometimes I'll transfer the files to my phone, edit it on my phone, get an extra 4,000 steps in because I've been walking for like 40 minutes. It really, really adds up. The small 1,000 step sessions, they really do add up within the day if you just keep implementing them. That doesn't mean you shouldn't do your cardio because cardio and steps are not actually the same thing. You want to actually raise your heart rate, break a sweat a little bit whenever you're in the gym or you're just getting exercise in general. I think the best cardio range for people to do is about 140 to 150 BPM. So you could actually track that on the handles that they have on the machine that you're going to use. But other than that, it's really important to actually hit your steps. It has so much more of a benefit too than just burning calories. It helps you think better, think more clearly. It helps you with your mood. It reduces anxiety. And I realized after my bodybuilding competition that as soon as I was done getting all these steps in, I just thought, okay, I'm going to do a set amount of cardio. I don't even really need to worry about steps anymore. And that couldn't have been more wrong. That was so stupid of me to do because I really just got depressed. I honestly got way more depressed not moving as much as I thought I should. And to account for it, the scale kept going up because I just wasn't moving as much. I was editing all these videos on my computer and I wasn't really doing much. I was averaging like 3,000 steps a day, and most humans actually average the highest amount 5,000 steps a day, which sounds all right, but let's be real. We need to find our step balance. So what number of steps can we actually aim towards to order to lose body fat every day? It's different for everyone, depending on how much cardio you do on a treadmill or a Stairmaster or an elliptical, whatever the hell you want to do. I think a good baseline for everyone to do is 10 to 12,000 steps per day. And it sounds so crazy right now, but once you figure out your flow, you're good. You're set for life because you're going to know how to get steps in literally every single day. I do such little things that honestly get me so many more steps throughout the day. I'll park in the farthest spot in the parking lot whenever I go shopping, or any sort of parking lot, really. It's an extra few hundred steps. It's really crazy how much that adds up to, because if it's 300 steps on the way in, it's an extra 300 on the way out. That's an extra 600 steps. It also doesn't mean that you just need to walk around like a trail or something like that every day. You don't need to drive to a trail. It could be so much easier than that. Granted, the vitamin D is super beneficial for your body. Vitamin D is essentially a hormone because it plays such a huge role in your hormones as well. You don't need to go on a sunny walk every day. Like, it doesn't have to be picture perfect. Remember, we need to find something that's super sustainable for you so that you can execute every single day. If you're new here, you probably don't follow my Instagram at all, but I'll link it down below. Anyways, I made a video explaining that my steps were kind of lacking behind because I was editing this content like I just mentioned earlier. But what I did in order to counter that was I started walking around my house. I was just prancing around my house. I got 10K steps easily. I'm averaging at least 20,000 steps a day right now, even though it's a little bit higher for me, so I might bump that down a little bit. But it doesn't always have to look pretty. It just has to be effective. There's sort of like a loop in my house. I don't know if I should. I don't want to take my camera anywhere, but maybe someday I'll show you. But there's a loop in my house that you can just kind of walk, and I just walk that for hours. Like I said, I edit videos. I'll do whatever I need to do on my phone, but I'll walk that for hours. It doesn't need to be pretty. It doesn't need to be pretty at all. You just got to be able to actually execute. But what happens if you accidentally go over? You do more than you expect. That's just bonus. I mean, you can't really think of it as, I did more today. I think I can just do less yesterday, or no, I said that wrong. I did more today, so I'm just going to do less tomorrow to kind of average it out. Do not think like that. I promise you, you are going to hate yourself. I need you to get into this mindset that more can be better, but too much is not exactly necessary and maybe even harmful. Just because you got 10K extra steps because you did a big task, you did a big hike with friends, doesn't mean tomorrow you get to chill out and just sit on the couch, stay sedentary. Think of a $5, this is so cliche, this is so basic, but you know that $5 coffee term everyone talks about. If you save $5 a day by not drinking your $5 coffee, you know what I mean? Think of that compounding $5 coffee, right? It compounds within the year. It ends up being a large number at the end of the year of money you spent on coffee, and you're like, oh my God, I could have saved that much money. Think of how much extra progress you could have made with the compounding movement that you were doing day to day. But if you actually wanted to be a sedentary couch potato, even though that sounds cliche again, one day, because you did extra the day before, like you went on a hike, you did something very activity-based, it just compounds the amount of progress that you can make over a year. And the thing that's gonna leave a bitter taste in your mouth is you don't actually know how much progress you could have made if you just moved more consistently. And this, once again, adds more good habits like we mentioned in the beginning, because it's more of implementing a more active lifestyle. You want to be moving constantly 24/7, because the movement actually defeats the purpose of being lazy. And it's not exactly the way you think either. It's not just, all right, I was lazy and now that I'm moving, I'm less lazy. It's not even just like that. With the habits that you build, you get more energy because one, you're looking forward to them, and then two, you get more energy because you're moving more. What's that? What was it? Newton's law? An object in motion stays in motion. Think of that. Your ass is sat on the couch whenever you wanted to skip a day. An object at rest stays at rest. And eating food more? I don't know. I mean, we love to watch these shows every night, right? After work, we come home, we wind down a little bit. I don't watch shows personally, but I know that a lot of people do. And I've had that bit of relatability before. But after work, all you want to do is just go home and watch these shows. But you want to be able to stay active throughout the day. That's also why I mentioned going into the gym in the morning is so beneficial. So when you get home, you actually can wind down and watch these shows. And I want to get into another topic that actually counteracts this, and it's creating friction between the things that are holding you back. So why use willpower when you don't necessarily have to in the first place? At least mitigate it, all right? And what I mean by this is don't keep the bad foods in your house. Don't keep it around you. Because even if shit hits the fan and things go wrong, you're not going to be able to beat yourself up as much as if you binge on blueberries and almonds compared to a whole pack of Krispy Kreme donuts, the brownie brittle, everything like that. Stuff you keep like the peanut butter pretzels. I know those are the stuff that I like, at least. But you're creating friction, as in a lot of your time is going to be spent in your house where all the food's going to be. Because when you use willpower, it's mainly just at the grocery store, and that's where you don't have to buy all the stuff that's kind of screaming your name whenever you walk in. That is the only real place you have to channel your willpower. And that, in my opinion, I know a lot of people will disagree with this, but that's honestly one of the hardest parts. One tip that I actually like to follow too is going to the outskirts of the grocery store. Like if you were to even shop at a Walmart, I know it's most Walmarts too have this, they have all the fresh food around the ring of the Walmart. And if you were to just go take a look, it's all the refrigerated stuff. That's the stuff that you actually want to eat. Don't get me wrong, you can get away with eating a lot of this other stuff too. It's not like you have to completely throw away the life you're currently living. You need to destroy the person that you've become over that time. Know that what you want to be able to be capable of requires a bit of a lifestyle shift. I'm not going to hand you a golden ticket here and say that everything's going to be so easy and you're going to do just fine. Because it's a bumpy road. Quite honestly, it is a very bumpy road. But that's why we learn how to eat so that we know how to incorporate these foods in, which I can touch up on another video if you guys want. But for right now, I'm just going to stick to what I have right now. And you know what? I may even touch up on some topics in a little bit later, but stay tuned for that. The outskirts have all the fresh food. Anything that can be packaged and can just sit on a shelf for hours, days, months, years. It's probably not the best, unless it's something like, I don't know, like granola. But what I like to keep in my house are the snack foods because everyone wants a snack every now and again. A lot of people don't even just need to be able to track their calories. Some people just need better choices of foods to eat and they don't know where to go. My snacks, I would recommend nuts and fruit, all right? You're gonna eat nuts, you're gonna eat fruit. Those are just the two I can think of on the top of my head. There's probably more that will come up. And if it looks healthier than what you're already eating, then go for it as well. But you also wanna have a high protein, high-ish fiber diet because fiber actually keeps you full for a longer period of time. But with this, you want to be able to drink a lot of water because fiber kind of sits in your stomach, kind of like cement. You need the water in order to be able to flush it out. But we covered the fact that you need fruits, you need nuts, you need high protein, high fiber. Are carbs and fats something you need to worry about? No. Not at all. Literally not at all. You don't need to worry about how the carbs gonna make you fat, salt's gonna make you fat, fat's gonna make you fat because it's called fat. That's not how that works. Fats are there for your hormones. Fats are there to regulate your hormones, make sure you're a healthy human being. Carbs are basically your energy source. They're made into glucose, which kind of fill up the muscle, give you more energy to actually exert more energy in the gym as well. But I recommend if you have your protein goal and your fat goal set, your fat goal should be 0.3 grams per pound of body weight, I believe. No, I don't believe, I know. I know that, all right? Your protein should be at least 0.8 grams per pound of body weight that you weigh, or 1 gram per pound of body weight that you weigh, or in this case, 1 gram per target body weight. Because if you're watching this, you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to lose body fat, and if you're actually like 400 pounds, 500 pounds, you're not gonna be able to eat 500 grams of protein a day. It's just not realistic. Your body needs to run on some carbs and fats as well to have everything balanced out, so that's just not gonna work 24/7 for every single person in the world. Everything I mentioned is very important, but your quantity is honestly what makes up how much weight you lose, how much body fat you lose, how much muscle you build. And to what I was saying was your protein, fats, and carbs are the three things that you call your macros. You put them all together, they make your total daily calories. And I want you to write this down so that you understand it. Protein is 4 calories per gram. Carbs are 4 calories per gram. Fats are 9 calories per gram. But that doesn't mean we should fear them, right? Just because fat has more calories doesn't mean we need to back off on the fat. We need to get enough fat so that we're actually sustaining a good hormone profile, but not too much, because then we just don't have as much calories to spend on protein and carbs at the same time. So you know what foods to eat, you know how much food to eat. I'll show you how to track your calories in another video, don't worry about that. But now that you know what to eat, you know how much to eat of it, we have created this friction so that when we go home and we have the pantry open, Everything that we use willpower at the grocery store to not buy is not in the pantry or in the fridge. I'm gonna be honest with you, last night I cheated on my diet. And I haven't really cheated on my diet that much just because I like the way I feel when I don't. And that's not crazy to say. That's not crazy to say at all. A lot of people will say, dude, go have fun. And you totally can. Because I don't want you to be afraid of food at this point. Food is not something to be afraid of. And think of how stupid you sound if you say you fear food. If you fear food, come on, it's an object. You're gonna shy away from the burger patty. Oh, I can't eat it. Dude, come on. Let's be real. Food is an object. We're not going to be afraid of it. But it does hold memories and it does hold fun times for people too. If you're at a wedding, eat the cake. Eat the pasta that they serve there. It's probably awesome, but just know that you have a lifestyle that's backed up by that. So the next day, just hop right back on plan. You can't just over restrict yourself because you binged out or you had way too much one day, because then it's just going to create something called a yo-yo diet, which means you go up and down between eating too much, and then you try to mitigate it by eating little the next day, but then you binge again, and you're just going to get something that I don't know if I could say on here. It's like a ED, you know what I mean? I hope you could pick up what I'm putting down. But let yourself be human. Allow yourself to actually eat on the days that matter. Holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving. Because food is part of the memories that you actually make with these people. Because you don't want to remember that time as the person that brought chicken and rice to a family wedding or a family event like Christmas. What are you eating? Why are you doing that? I hate to break it to you, when they say one day won't hurt, they are actually right. And honestly, I don't even really hate to break it to you. You're probably jumping with joy right now. But you build these habits and you live this lifestyle basically almost every day other than these events, so that it backs you up on the days that you actually can eat like this. And what mostly happens whenever you actually eat on these days and you go off your plan, or you don't even really need to have a plan. You just need to know how to eat necessarily. How to eat is another video I want to make, so stay tuned for that. Because you can necessarily fit anything in your diet. There's so many people that lost weight of just eating McDonald's or just eating Twinkies every day. There are studies on that. There's videos on that. You can go look that up if you want. I'm not here to kind of just show you my screen of another video. It's not my point. And what happens when you actually eat these foods on these days, that means that you're just mainly going to put on water weight that will flush out within the next few days. When you break a sweat, you pee it out by drinking a lot more water. Other than fiber that I mentioned earlier, what are some good ways to actually mitigate the amount of hunger that I feel on a day-to-day basis? Methods that I use to actually mitigate the amount of hunger that I feel. I am a very hungry person. Don't get it twisted. I know I look like I'm in shape, but if I didn't go to the gym now because I enjoyed it, I'd be going because I had to later. But caffeine is one of my #1 tools to utilize in order to mitigate the amount of hunger that I feel day to day. Not only is it good for cognitive function, good for metabolism, it's also good for keeping you full. It helps you reduce cravings as well. I'm going to tell you how to do this without wrecking your health. 1, ditch all coffee creamers, ditch anything like that. If anything, just replace it with a protein powder. Some brands even have chocolate electrolytes too that you can actually hydrate while you're drinking coffee. And I have no idea, I've never tried them. I don't know if they're disgusting or not. If you want to give me a shout to see if they're disgusting or not, just throw it in the comments. I don't know if anyone's ever actually tried them. But the liquid calories are just not worth it. You want to actually have more volume of food that you can eat throughout the day and just not spend on liquid calories like coffee creamers and stuff that's just going to add up, and just stuff that doesn't even have much nutritional benefit at all. I normally just do black coffee. I'm just a pretty basic person. But today I actually threw some chocolate protein in it, and I'm kind of impressed, but I'm not going to do that every day. I just wanted to give it a try. And honestly, if that works for you, then go for it. It tastes pretty good. It's kind of like a hot chocolate. But you can also do a bunch of diet sodas. Those keep you full. Those actually beat cravings because of that sweet tooth feeling that you get. It's kind of eliminated whenever you're having a bubbly, carbonated sweet drink. The carbonation helps you fill your stomach a little bit longer, but if you have too many, it could kind of wreck your gut, so I'd be careful about that. Dude, my dog is like... Dude, what is my dog doing? But believe it or not, protein is not just meant for muscle building, but also keeping you satiated for a longer period of time. A higher protein diet is what we should be eating in the first place. But with a cultural shift over time, there's been a lot of new manufactured things that make it a little bit harder, not even a little bit, so much harder for us to actually adhere to stuff like this, because a lot of our nutrition is just based on what we see, what we can find on the go sometimes, like fast food, grocery stores, what's shoved right in our face, processed BS that we don't want to eat. The most important point I want to make here is you don't actually know how good you can feel. Granted, I know we said we have caffeine in here. I don't consume caffeine after 12 because I don't want it to wreck my sleep. That's because caffeine has a pretty long half-life, which means it stays in your system throughout the whole day. Even though you don't necessarily feel it, I don't want it in my system by the time I go to bed, because then it's just going to compound and basically wreck my sleep over the next like few times that I do that. If you do that consistently, that's something you might want to watch out for, but you don't know how good you can feel. And I would say 80-20 is the percentages you want to eat for your diet, like 80% clean, 20% junk food. Sorry, my nose is so itchy, but we're not all robots. We can't just eat 100% clean all the time. Even though I'm kind of hypocritical for saying that, I basically do that. Every now and again, I'm not gonna just pass down something that someone offers me if I go to like some sort of special event like I was talking about earlier. But you genuinely do not understand how good you could feel if you could incorporate the diet, sleep, and training, like I said in the triangle. Your gut clears up, your acne clears up because of that, and that means you're not digesting super hard all the time, which means you actually have more energy to spend throughout your day, and you can also get better sleep if you eat a little bit less before going to bed, because then also you're not digesting in your sleep. So you can optimize for pretty much basically amazing performance throughout the day. And that's kind of how I mitigated the fact that if I were to go to the gym in the morning, I mitigated the amount of fatigue that I would feel in the morning, or not fatigue. What's the word for this? Tiredness in the morning. But that's the only word I can come up with for that for now, because my literature is just so poor. So I'm telling you right now, if you just tried, you'd be ahead of 90% of other people in your whole life, basically. But that also means you were 100% ahead of the person that you were yesterday and the day before. Because think of it, you were probably thinking of doing something, but the fact that you take action actually makes things official. I hope you guys can find value from this video. I had a lot of game to spit. I have way more to spit, so I'll be trying to reply to everything that I can. I have no idea how well this video is going to do. I just thought that I had to get some things off my chest because a lot of people need my help and they have no idea I'm here yet. I was talking to a few people at work the other day and just giving them so much advice, and I was just like, why am I waiting? Why am I waiting on giving this advice? People need my help. People actually want my help, but they have no idea that I exist yet. So why am I waiting for the perfect time? And that honestly comes with exercise too. You shouldn't be waiting for the perfect time. Things just don't work in that order. You can't just wait for the result so that you can start. You need to actually start in order to get the result. So many people, rather than admitting it, want to just believe that it's flip-flop. This has been all I have to say for now. If you made it to the end of this video, I love you. Comment something like sweet potato or something like that. That's pretty cool. Other than that, I'll see you all later.